Yo, what's going on, guys? GetLikeCoop here, back with another episode of the Laced Up Podcast. I'm here with Mike and Mike.
What's up, guys?
Wait, which Mike are you?
I'm number one, Mike.
How do you know he wasn't addressing me and then he was addressing you?
Because he's went with number one and then he went with number two.
Already bringing out the haymakers, I see.
Well, today we've got some great stuff. And Mike, I know you want to talk about the giveaway though before we get into that.
Yeah, so guys, we are capping off the giveaway to the first 40,000 subscribers that turn on our notifications for the Laced Up Podcast. All you have to do to enter for a chance to win a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X is subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you want to do us a favor, leave a like on the pod and let me know in the comment section down below when it's done. You'll enter for a chance to win a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X.
And like I said before, I will play PS5 or Xbox. Well, I don't have an Xbox, so I'll play PS5. If you choose PS5 with whoever it is, if you want to play Park, I just got MLB The Show. It's been pretty fun. I'm not really great, so you'll probably beat me. And speaking of beating, we're going right into this. We're jumping. Perfect transition. We just watched Jake Paul beat Ben Askren's. It's the first few minutes of the pod. So, he beat his face in. What do you guys think about it? I don't think Coop really knows much, but Mike, what do you think about it?
Bro, why are you acting like this is some great achievement that Jake Paul just did?
Because clearly, honestly, I get hyped for these fights. I will say I get hyped to watch Jake Paul fight. I will give him all the credit in the world, not for being a good person. I don't believe he's a good person, not for any of that. But I'll give him all the credit in the world for being the internet's greatest villain and a walking source of content, because he is so, he is the number one. You love to hate this guy, and you just see social media light up with, I want to see Jake Paul get knocked out. I want to see Jake Paul's face get beaten in. Jake Paul is the most punchable face in the world. So personally, I've got to say I'm happy he won, because I'm here for the next fight, even though that event was just horrible.
I'll tell you this. I respect him as an entrepreneur. I respect him as a businessman. I thought the actual event was absolute garbage. The production quality was horrible. There was just random bits, random artists. Doja Cat came up and played 5 songs. I was just not there to watch these various artists perform.
Yeah, even by the time Bieber came on, I was like, can the fight happen? And I love Justin Bieber, but it was like,
wait, hold on, pause. What?
Who doesn't love? You don't love Justin Bieber?
When did you become a Justin Bieber fan?
Closetly since I was 12, but then openly since I was 18.
What?
One time slapped. I'm not gonna lie. For
one time, that's the very beginning.
Why were you hiding your fandom? What's the purpose?
I was in middle school. I mean, you couldn't be a guy and be Justin Bieber fan back then.
Yes. Did you watch one time and you're like, wow, I can really resonate with this guy?
Yeah, I did.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember that song, Korzemba. Could you give me some cues?
All right, cool. Me plus you. I'ma tell you one. Me plus you.
Oh.
I'ma tell you one. Me plus you. I'ma tell you one. One time.
So.
No, that's enough. You're good.
We're keeping that in the pod, right? Okay. So I completely lost my.
I just lost 10,000 subscribers.
Honestly, I think you gained 10,000 subscribers for that.
I hope so. I mean, it was a great singing performance.
So here's the thing: the fight was terrible. I felt robbed from that entire event, because by the time you're sitting through all of this stuff, it's kind of when you have to sit through 3 minutes worth of ads if you have Hulu Live TV, or unskippable YouTube ads if they're 3 or 4 minutes long. And then only there were 3 to 4. It was a 3-hour event. They dragged it on over and over and over again. By the time it gets to the fight, Jake Paul KOs this guy literally within the first round. Yeah, and dude, if you go on Twitter, you could see montages of Ben Askren just getting his ass kicked, like they're just beating the crap out of him. And he's hanging in there and he's pulling off W's. So you're telling me that Jake Paul, this guy, was able to KO him that easily? It just seemed so rigged. And at the end of the day, people are applauding Jake Paul for doing it because it was a savvy business move. But I don't think a lot of people are going to watch this next fight unless if it's a big guy.
Yeah, I think, okay, I have multiple things to say on this. One, I agree. The event was so bad. Like, it was entertaining at times. The clips were entertaining. Like, if you made it into a 20-minute segment instead of like 5 hours or 6 hours that it was, it'd be entertaining because Pete Davidson was funny. Guys, by the way, we are also on Apple and Spotify. The links to the Lace Up podcast for Apple and Spotify will be down below in the description. Please on Apple subscribe and give us a 5-star review if you think we deserve it. I mean, it was clearly not an actual take it seriously boxing fight, seeing as Pete Davidson and Snoop were just cracking jokes, drinking, smoking. They were just having a good time, it was funny. I was laughing at Pete, but I agree. That fight was such a mess that they definitely need to bring in someone higher level, a bigger name maybe, for people to trust the next fight, because you see the DAZN fights with like KSI and Logan Paul. Like, those were well put together events the entire time. People just love them. Jake Paul, it just, especially with the ending, I agree. Like, I do not think it was a good event, but that ending is the reason why I will say I don't think the actual fight was rigged. Now, do I think Ben Askren didn't care at all about fighting? Yes, I really don't think he cared. He showed up rocking, like, people in my YouTube comments lately have just been ripping me. Like, oh my God, Mike, is your face stung? You've gotten so fat. Ben Askren and me have comparable bodies right now, okay? There's a problem with that. Like, I'm not trained to box. I'm not sure Ben Askren trained. Like, he obviously trained, but he didn't care. Every time Ben Askren was asked, do you think you could beat Jake Paul? He was like, well, Jake thinks he's a good fighter. I don't think Jake's a good fighter. So if he is a good fighter, he'll beat me, but I don't think he is. So I think I'll win. I mean, that's not the words of a killer. Like, people were saying, yeah, oh, Ben's been in the ring with killers and everything. That is not the same Ben Askren that was fighting MMA. It's Ben Askren, hip surgery, hip replacement, whatever it was. Man was not in shape. He literally, like, you saw him walking off right after the match. He didn't care. He was smiling. He was laughing. It was fine. He walked up. I thought it was hilarious. He walking up with a sign that says, "This is Ben," just to make like a mockery of the whole thing, because Jake's got a transformer behind him, and Ben Askren is just a cardboard sign that says, "This is Ben." Like, that's funny, but I think it was in Triller's best interest for sure for Jake to win, because they want Jake to continue to fight and to continue to make them money. But I don't think the fight was rigged for that to happen, specifically because they got zero content out of the fight. It was a 55-second fight. They don't get to post clips. No one was happy with what happened. A 6-round fight, yeah, if Ben takes a dive then, that would make sense to me. But they wanted that fight to go the distance, as any fight promoter would, I would imagine.
I think what really happened was they told Ben Askren, hey, you need to take a fall and you're going to get a bag. And like, at that point, he's like, okay, if I just have to take a fall, then screw you guys. I'm going to take a fall immediately. Give me my bag. I'm going to go and put all this in Dogecoin and we're good. So
Dogecoin. Coop, I know you didn't know much about the Jake Paul dilemma, which also, I'm going to just stick with my review there, but have you been in Dogecoin, Coop? Did you get in before?
Unfortunately, I have not got in yet, but it's never too late, right? It's still pretty cheap from what I hear.
Personally, I have this like mentality where like I didn't get in when I should have, and I refuse to get in now.
Yeah. You should never chase. That's like the number one rule. Yeah. I remember like when it comes to like these bubbles, like there's also another rule. Like when everybody starts posting like their earnings to Twitter, and like your friends from high school start tweeting about like how rich they're getting off of like these meme stocks or like, just this crypto, that's when it's time to get out. But, yeah.
I got in on Dogecoin right when it started popping off after GME and AMC and the meme stocks like fell off the first time. And I'm like, okay, screw it. Let's put some money in Dogecoin. And I bought in at 2 cents, and I'm like, okay, this is a meme stock. Like this cryptocurrency was literally created as a joke. It was
2 cents.
Like,
so you, if you stayed, you would have 20 times.
Yeah, so if I held on, I sold it at like 7 cents because I don't know, I made 4 times my initial investment on like a joke crypto. So I didn't think it would ever go to 40 cents. Now currently I'm seeing this Dogecoin 420 tag trending, and at this point I don't know anything about investing anymore. Maybe a year ago I did.
Seriously.
It makes
the market's
no sense
actually terrible right now. Like it's actually like disgustingly bad.
Yeah, the market.
Doge right now is at 40 cents.
I told you. Yeah, I just said. Yeah, it's at 40 cents. You know what I'm gonna say? You know what I will say is that I saw Keemstar tweeting about Dogecoin. I saw him hyping up Dogecoin, and honestly, I mean, is Keemstar the most reliable financial analyst? Of course not. However, I feel like when he hypes something up like that, it actually like does work out. And I was like, oh, do I put money into this? And I was like, I felt like I had missed the wave already. I felt like I missed the wave when it got to 2 cents.
Yeah, same.
That's what I thought. I had already missed it. I didn't think it was going to 40 cents.
Bro, forget Keemstar. Freaking Elon Musk was hyping this crap up. Like,
why did I think he would stop? Why did I think it would stop?
I don't know. Me, like same. It's like that hindsight 2020 thing. Like, but still,
it's like a way you can't live. Like I know it. Like you can't look back. But like I swear to God, it feels like with like all this stuff, with like AMC, GameStop and everything, and then Dogecoin and stuff. It feels like I keep missing the trend right before, and I'm like, like these are like literally you put 10K in there at 2 cents, you're walking away with $200,000 right now.
Whoa.
I was talking to one of my friends just the other day, and she was telling me how she bought $50,000 worth of Bitcoin in 2017. And then she continued to tell me how she doesn't work a day in her life, because Bitcoin, like if you put $50,000 in Bitcoin back then, you're living good right now because of that one investment. But she just does it because otherwise she'd be bored. It's crazy how people are investing.
$50 in 2017?
50,000.
Oh, 50,000. Okay.
That's
I thought you said 50.
investment.
I was like, that.
How did she know? What was her cue?
I mean, here's the thing. If you look
how much money did she have to throw around?
Yeah.
I mean, I made a similar investment in 2017. I bought $20,000 worth of Ethereum, and I sold it like when it got to 1K. But anyways, what my cue was
diamond hands. Honestly, what we've all learned from this is diamond hands. Diamond hands.
No.
What?
Hey, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. No diamond hands.
I mean, a part of me wants to listen to him, given like what's been happening to us lately, Coop. Like,
no.
Listen,
The market
profit is profit.
Shambles.
Profit is profit, but diamond.
You got to take your profits. That's the number one rule. Crypto.
Profit is profit.
Maybe you want some diamond head, but look, you're never losing taking profits. That's the name of the game right there. By the way, not a financial advisor. Not a financial advisor.
I'm just an idiot that puts money into the market.
Whatever that is. Yeah, no. A moron, a fool.
Yeah, I'm just an idiot. Sometimes I get lucky. But what's scary about this, going back to what you were saying about Elon Musk and Keemstar, is now people have the power to legitimately gather crowds to perform what I like to say, for lack of a better term, is a pump and dump. You're getting a bunch of people to buy a cryptocurrency that literally, if you go on Coinbase, if you go on any app, it says underneath like a little description of each coin. It says, so Dogecoin was originally created as a joke because of like some some meme or whatever. It's crazy that people have the power to manipulate the market this way. And I think Keemstar is one of them.
Well, I mean, it's not just crypto though.
It's so much worse. It's so much worse higher up. Like this is just like, this
it's not
is
just
ground
crypto.
level stuff.
If you follow big time stock accounts, they do the same thing. They tweet out
YouTubers too. Yeah, YouTubers
they
too.
tweet out like, boom, this is hot. But like, you know, like we previously mentioned, when you see it, it's like you probably already missed
So I have a serious question right here.
Bump it up even more.
I have a serious question. Do we think that Doge, I like to call it Dogecoin, do we think Doge actually has a chance to become like a legitimate coin? Like, you know, like people actually use this?
So I read something. I don't know. Do not have much knowledge here. But so the way that like the amount of coins distributed, I don't know. I feel like the comments, someone's gonna know what like they're talking about and just listen to me and be like, this guy's an idiot. But just based on what I said, like it seems like it's like unlikely for it to hit $1 just based on like the amount of coins that are created.
Yeah.
Based on like there isn't like the market cap, like Bitcoin has like a set amount of Bitcoins that can be created, while Dogecoin, because it's was a meme, like they literally made it so like you could make billions and billions of Dogecoins, which means that the price shouldn't continue to rise. I have no idea though. Who knows? I mean, people were saying it couldn't hit a cent. People were literally saying at one point it's impossible for this coin to hit a cent, and now it's at 40 cents. So I don't. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like all it takes is like one person like revolutionizing the coin or something, or like accepting it, and like all of a sudden we're looking at like the next great coin.
All I know is the next time that Elon Musk tweets out about any coin, I am buying
That's the thing.
And then
you
holding
gotta
on
do
for
it
6
before.
months. Elon tweeted when it was at like 2 cents, and then like it went up to like 7. If you had bought it at like 7 cents, you'd be so happy right now.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You want to do it before. You don't want to get it after.
We got to somehow get into a group chat with Elon.
At the end of the day,
anyone knows Elon Musk, or Elon himself. I'm sure he actually is a.
What do you mean? We got Flight Mike right here, bro.
Yeah, he's a huge Flight Mike fan.
I don't have to pull like that. At the end of the day, though, I think my biggest issue with Dogecoin is I can only invest in like 3 cryptocurrencies and fall asleep at night, and even that, like I accept crypto as something that pops off one year, then bottoms a little bit the next, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, it's always going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe Chainlink. And that's because I actually see uses for all 3 of them. But at the same time, you have like a market of like 50 plus other altcoins. And that's where it gets a little confusing. And that's where like it turns out to be a bubble because you're just buying stuff that doesn't necessarily have inherent value just so you can say, hurt the dirt, just bought some Dogecoin. Haha, we're going to get rich. So I don't know, that's my take on it, but I hope everyone that's invested in it gets freaking rich. That's awesome if you do.
I mean, it's still just crushing it. Like at this point, like I really hope that people are taking their money out and not just being dumb.
So you're not getting in Korzemba. That's what you're telling us.
I'm not getting in. So literally, when 6 months from now, when Dogecoin is at $50,
oh my goodness,
this was my downfall.
Oh my goodness, hey man. It couldn't hurt to throw 20 in there, could it, Korzemba?
I mean, yeah.
Bro, that $20 could turn into $4,000.
Like. I'm in it to win it, though. I'm in it like I want this, and like I want something, and it to be like, okay, that pays for half my house, Yeah.
That's why I was kind of looking to get into dividend stocks,
All right, well, we talked a bunch about things that are not NBA related. Let's jump into the NBA. Let's continue talking social media, though, because today, Kevin Durant recently on a podcast interview, the clip came out, where Kevin Durant was asked, who are the top 5 players that you've ever played with? Immediately rattles off Kyrie Irving, James Harden, of course. His teammates, makes sense. Okay. Then he goes Steph and Clay, and he's ranking them in order, by the way, which, that's just Steph disrespect, I will say, and we will talk about Steph as we go on in this pod, but again, I understand because those are his current teammates, of course. But
I mean, obviously.
Then number 5 though, he thinks for a second and chooses Serge Ibaka, which like me and Mike texted about this for a second, and I was like, he did retract, and then Mike was like, can you think for a second? Like, come on. He literally chose the same guy that was on the Thunder. So he did backtrack 45 seconds later because the two guys that were on the interview or podcast or whatever was happening were like, you kind of forgot about Russell Westbrook. And he was like, oh yeah, Russ. Oh yeah, I'll actually put him ahead of Clay. Yeah, thank you for doing that. But he did it really straight-faced. He didn't seem very apologetic. And of course he does not forget Russell Westbrook. So
I mean, I think we're looking a little too deep into this because
Agreed.
I mean, I don't think we could expect Kevin Durant to be like super apologetic on a podcast. Like, oh, like what did you really want him to? No,
wait. So
bad,
you think
Russ,
that he actually forgot Russ?
I mean, I think there's a chance. Yeah, I mean, this guy's been in the league.
Wait, did Mike just say agreed? You're the one that
said agreed.
No, I said yeah, I do agree that people are looking a little bit too deep into this.
Yeah, seriously.
But at the same time, Coop, go ahead, finish your take.
I was just going to say, this guy's been in the league a long time. You know, he's had multiple All-NBA teammates. It's not a shock to me that, you know, in the moment, he could forget Russell Westbrook. I mean, obviously right now he's probably closer to Serge Ibaka. I think he even went on the show that Serge Ibaka has, that little cooking show. By the way, looks pretty fire. Shout out Serge Ibaka. So yeah, I really have a hard time believing that Kevin Durant did this on purpose, especially how petty Kevin Durant is. Like,
that's the whole reason why he would do it on purpose.
But obviously he has no issue speaking his mind, right? Obviously, like
that was him speaking his mind.
He's not on burners anymore. Then why would he go back on his word? I just
because
don't
at
feel
that
like
point,
Kevin Durant's that type of person.
Because at that point, I would say it
anymore,
made zero sense. To the point, he would have goes, did I forget someone? I feel like he put on a show, honestly. He's like, oh, did I forget someone? And then they're like,
no, would he?
And then they were like, they literally said where they said L.A. And then they're like, and he's like,
bro, he's doing a podcast. Like he
chose.
I forget all the time.
You think it's a coincidence? He chose Serge Ibaka, first of all, over like Draymond?
For one,
Draymond Green is a better teammate than Serge Ibaka. He's a better player than Serge Ibaka.
Serge Ibaka in Golden State, his career is better than Draymond Green, probably.
Him and Draymond.
That is crazy.
Also, whoa, no, Coop, no, you can't say that, bro. No.
You're telling.
Defend that
statement. Do you see how teams guard Draymond Green? Can you do that with Serge Ibaka?
No. Draymond is literally one of the best defenders of this generation.
You take Draymond Green off of the Golden State Warriors, and I will take away at least one of their championships.
Literally.
No, I won't argue that, but I'm saying prime Serge Ibaka was an absolute monster, right? And I'm not saying the skill sets necessarily correlate, but what Ibaka gives you, you got like a lot of similarities with Draymond Green. You got the small ball five. You got somebody that could space the floor.
Draymond can handle it. Draymond has a great passing
No. We call Draymond Green just bringing the ball down court, handling the rock. He's
Draymond
been playing with all NBA talent his whole career.
For a 4 or 5, he could handle it.
Draymond Green just dribbles the ball down court. You know, he's probably looking down, and we call this playmaking and like
Draymond Green is currently.
Look, I'll give it to you. Draymond knows what makes his money. I'll give it to you. Yeah, he knows what makes his money. He knows getting the ball.
This is what you're comparing. You're comparing a man who is averaging for his career 5.2 assists per game. During the Warriors' prime year, during his prime season,
okay, but what is he averaging without Stephen Curry? This
doesn't matter. What's Serge Ibaka averaging without any All-Star teammate he has?
He's had great seasons without All-Stars.
I don't
know how often he's played without All-Stars, but I think
Serge Ibaka has
had great seasons without All-Stars. Serge Ibaka's best season
ever. Well, yeah, I think he's had an All-Star pretty much his whole career, but I mean, still, like it's not like his game is reliant on that of an All-Star like Draymond,
KD. And Harden at one point, and then he went to Orlando for the littlest bit where he was he averaged 15 and 7, and then
he was traded for
Toronto. Now he's with the Clippers. But Draymond, Draymond's why are we even having this conversation? Draymond, like
you can't compare
defensive player of the year candidate in his prime, and also gave you 7 assists a game. 7.
He's passing Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson. If you put me out there, I might get 7 a game.
Here's the thing: like
Serge Ibaka had multiple All-Star teammates. He
didn't have Steph and he didn't have Klay Thompson.
His career high assists per game is currently
the Clippers. For one, he's not a playmaker. For one,
that's what I'm saying. That makes him a worse player.
Warriors'
think
offense
he's necessarily a. Go ahead, Mike.
The Warriors' offense literally runs through Draymond Green's ability to bring the ball up court. Bro, you're talking about a guy that has the ability to create plays while he's running the pick and roll, be able to run the floor, go coast to coast with the ball.
Where people just don't guard Draymond? Have you seen
those clips? Yeah, in the half court,
where there's like 5 guys in the paint waiting for Steph to run off a screen or something?
All I'm saying is, to the Warriors system, Draymond Green is very important to the point where he's irreplaceable almost.
Also, what I will say about Draymond that makes him so incredible, it's the same thing about Clay, is that they give you so much positives without taking away. Like Draymond just does not have a selfish bone in his body, basically, in the offensive end. He's cool with taking 2 shots in a game
because he's so limited offensively. He knows that.
He also sets the tone.
He's not capable of
talks to LeBron in Game 7 of the Finals about that.
Yeah, talks trash, sets the tone, is a good leader. Like, there's so much stuff.
You can't grab one game and be like, oh, well, this guy did this for one game.
Serge Ibaka would I'm not sure which Finals this is. I'm trying to pull it up. Serge Ibaka would never. It would never happen. Draymond literally went head-to-head with LeBron in Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals. He finished with 32 points, 15 rebounds, and 9 assists in a 4-point loss. Serge Ibaka would never. It would not even close.
You're crazy.
I'm crazy? That's like
crazy,
a freaking
man.
32, 15, and 9?
You're crazy. That's one game. That's one game for one.
Dude, he's a 3-time All-Star. He averages 7 assists per game. He's freaking...
Look, I'm not saying Draymond's bad. I'm just saying I feel like Serge Ibaka could give you
defensive player of the year
of the same stuff. Not the playmaking, obviously. But
he's a 2-time member of the All-NBA. Like, they're just on different levels.
Yeah, I think they play 2 completely.
I don't know. I think a lot of that came from the Warrior system. I don't want to call him like irreplaceable to the Warrior system. Obviously, peak Draymond
he's just
was
so
like
much more
instrumental.
He's more versatile. He can.
The only difference is he's a better playmaker, and
that's
he's a way worse shooter.
Difference.
But
that's a huge.
No,
that's like saying the only difference is he can shoot.
No. Because Ibaka shoots the lights out of the ball. You know, that's somebody that you actually have to account for on the offensive side of the basketball. You can't just drop clean off of Ibaka, right? So,
I mean, like, I don't know what you mean by the lights out.
Ibaka is currently shooting 35% from 3, 51%.
Well, last year,
yeah,
he's not shooting as well as he once was. I mean, we're going by Draymond's prime, right? So why can't we go from Ibaka's peak shooting years where he was shooting 40%? Like, this guy shoots, right? I mean, nobody's arguing that
he's a better shooter. He is a better shooter.
Made 1.6 threes a game and averaged 14 points.
2016, 2017, he hit 2 threes a game, shot 40% from 3.
All right, so to be honest,
pretty good.
I guess, but also, like, I mean, there's Draymond does so much more, but okay. I mean, like, end of the day, you're telling me right now you would take prime Serge Ibaka over prime Draymond if you're trying to build a championship team?
I'm not saying I'm taking prime Draymond over, or I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I think Ibaka gives you a lot of the same stuff. And yeah, you know, you're going to lose some things, but you're also going to gain some things.
I feel like they're just if you guys don't players.
If you guys don't mind, because we're starting to go in circles here, I'd like to recenter the conversation around Kevin Durant. The first thing I want to say is shout out to the name of the podcast, by the way, $1 Million Worth of Game Podcast, because when I was watching this clip and I was watching the guy interviewing KD, as someone that is in the media world, and we're all in the sports media world, the man that was interviewing KD could have taken that clip and ran with it. He could have said nothing and said, oh my God, Kevin Durant shades Russell Westbrook, blah, 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 blah. And we even saw, like, the very first time I saw the clip, people cut out the part where Kevin Durant showed Russell Westbrook love. You know,
so. Did you say people cut out? Didn't you do that?
Who? Me?
You.
I just tweeted it out, but in my actual video on it, I showed the whole clip.
And chose violence.
Yeah, that's the first thing I saw. And then I saw the full clip, and I posted it onto YouTube in its entirety. But at the same time, if you look at Kevin Durant's track record, not for his entire career, but let alone this past month, it started with the Michael Rappaport Twitter spat. Then last week, you had him going up against Shannon Sharpe. Bear in mind, Shannon Sharpe was praising Kevin Durant. if you pay attention to what he was saying. It was a quote that Kevin Durant never said, but he was literally trying to elevate Kevin Durant to GOAT status, and Kevin Durant, just so he could clap back, said, I didn't say those things. And now you have this thing where he goes onto this podcast, $1 million worth of game podcast, throws shade at one of his teammates, and him and Kyrie Irving just have a history of doing this type of stuff. And I feel like they kind of like are sitting back in their locker room, like giggling, because they do these slightly absurd things that is enough for us to like look at them and say, why are you doing this? But at the same time, it's super subtle. Very similar to when Kyrie Irving says the world is flat, for example. Or way better example, I'll say. I'm completely agreeing with you, though. I got a better example, though, I think. Remember when Kyrie was like, when he said that like the best player that he's ever played with, like down the stretch, he named another player other than LeBron, you know? Yeah.
Like, and like he threw like I refuse to believe that these guys are just forgetting it. And then also, Kyrie was like, yeah, I'm not throwing shade at LeBron. If I would name him. Like, dude, you throw shade everywhere. Like, I don't know. Whatever. That's a whole different situation. But I agree. I fully believe, Coop, I'm disagreeing with you here. I fully believe.
All right, so when it comes to this Russell Westbrook situation, why would he, if he wanted to shade him, why does he move him to 4th on the list? What's the logic behind that?
Fourth is still shading him, by the way.
That is a good question. That is a good question.
Why would he move him up? Like,
that is a good question, but I don't think he
because that makes it seem like he legitimately forgot him. I mean,
on top of that, now he's like still shading him because could you make an argument that Russell Westbrook and James Harden are equals, if not one is slightly better than the other?
No. James Harden's way better than Westbrook. We're not.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not.
That's a whole other conversation. He has Kyrie.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
Different conversation, but yeah, I mean, I will definitely agree. That's a good counterpoint, but I just think that the way he just was like about like talking, like my whole thing is if you're naming Serge Ibaka, who was on the Thunder, and you're forgetting about Russell Westbrook, who they had a thing, like there was a falling out. Have they reconnected? I haven't seen anything about it. I've never seen Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant are now cool. Kevin Durant, you're right, like you said, is petty. I think he's still petty. I think he does like Mike said. I think they just do these little small things that they're just like. He just literally was like, he went back. He probably was literally going back because he went current team Brooklyn Nets. Okay, he named 2 guys. Then he went Warriors. Going back in his head, what teams he was on. Went back to the Thunder and went And then he went Serge Ibaka. Man. Like, come on. You know?
Yeah.
If he remembers Serge Ibaka the most, I mean, like I said, they got that show together, man. He's real cool with Ibaka. Like, it's obvious KD and Ibaka are boys.
Yeah,
so
maybe he just
who popped into his head first. I don't think we should be mad at that. Like,
even after when he was reminded,
I do think it was shade.
Even after when he was reminded that him and Russell Westbrook were teammates, you can even take his direct quote as him shading Russell Westbrook, saying, "Oh, I forgot about Russell Westbrook."
Yeah, like with that tone of voice, he's like, "Oh, I forgot Russ."
Bro, he talked like that the whole time. He talked like that as he was naming people. He just had like a chill vibe because he's podcasting with his boys.
Dude, you don't forget Russell Westbrook.
Come on.
I don't buy it. You don't forget Russell Westbrook. You're not forgetting Russell Westbrook. You're not forgetting the man who they had the whole cupcake thing. It was a whole thing. He's freaking hates Russell Westbrook, possibly. Not sure if he hates him, but
if you hate somebody, there's a legit possibility you could block them out of your mind, or you don't want to think about them. Or, something like that. So it could be like Kevin Durant was on that type of time where he's like, I'm not really thinking about Russ right now. I haven't really thought about Russ in the past couple of years. And
I would agree with that if we didn't know Kevin Durant as a person, but like he literally pulls up feuds from 3 years ago at the
true. That's true. So. And I do feel that. But I also feel like at this stage, if Kevin Durant doesn't mess with you, he's going to stick to his guns and like not mess with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he's trying to hide or like necessarily shade people.
Maybe he just didn't want to talk about Russ. I think
Kyrie. What's up?
Maybe he just didn't want to talk about Russ. Maybe that's a possibility too.
That's also true.
Maybe he just didn't want to bring up Russ because they didn't want any follow-up questions like, "Oh yeah, how are you and Russ? How is this?"
Yeah, because that is definitely a whole wormhole that people are going to try to go down and get some more
Yeah, so I'll say
Clipsada,
that.
so,
but I mean,
yeah, I mean that's also a possibility too. But I don't think it was necessarily done to quote unquote shade Russ.
I'm sticking to my guns here. He has a
Mike, what is your gun?
Oh, right now I'm just kidding. Historically, what?
We just lost everyone. Everyone's gone. We're gonna look on
you actually just
analytics. Literally, YouTube view duration. It's gonna be.
I'm sure retention was already like shot down the moment you sang Justin Bieber, Mike.
Dude, we got viewers from that. I'm telling you, that's gonna be. Clip it, put it on YouTube. I mean, put it on Twitter.
So I'm just gonna say that Kevin Durant just has a history of doing this. Him and Kyrie Irving always do stuff like this. I'm gonna stick to my guns that I think he was trying to do something subtle, and I'll give him credit. This was subtle, but it seems like lately, Kevin Durant's been like out for blood. Like literally just trying to like from the Michael Rappaport to the Shannon Sharp to this, and that's before we go and like into the archives of all the other times that like he has his burner accounts and whatnot. And what I never could wrap my head around is we're talking about probably the most, like the second most, or if not the most successful player in the NBA. Like currently there's no one that is a bigger success. Maybe you could say the argument for LeBron James, but when you look at everything from the hardware to the individual achievements to his investments, this is a guy that invested in Coinbase. He's like, he is on his way to being a billionaire if he's not already a billionaire. So I don't understand, like, why on earth does he spend time giving these people attention?
That's just his personality. He just that's just him. Like, there was the report that when he signed with Golden State, I mean, it's like a reported thing. You could Google it right now. He spent the entire day in bed. He literally, from people, the amount of negative like outpour that came from people such as myself, I made a video on it too, but from the amount of negativity that came at him, he literally laid in bed all day. It was reported. Like, what? He's Kevin Durant. Yeah, I think like we get hate all the time, and you got to just learn to live with it. Why is Kevin Durant taking this so personally? I don't know, but that's just that's Kevin Durant. Why does Kyrie do what he does? I don't know. That's just Kyrie.
All right, fair point. Well, what do you guys think about the Brooklyn Nets currently? Do you think are they still your lock to make it to the NBA Finals now that LaMarcus Aldridge retired and they have all these injuries? Bear in mind, by the way, there's a statistic that James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving have only played 7% of their games together. The Brooklyn Nets are currently 11-13 when James Harden doesn't play. And when you factor all of that, the biggest statistic that concerns me is in the past 2 decades, out of each and every championship team, most of these big threes of these championship teams at least played 52% of their games. There's only been 2 times where a championship team big three has only played 50% of their games, or like 54% of their games and less. And that was the Cleveland Cavaliers the year they won it. And the other one, I don't want to misquote myself, so I'm going to have to do some digging. But I believe the other one was the 2018 Golden State Warriors.
Okay, so first I want to say I appreciate the stat, but I don't think that's relevant here.
Which stat? I threw like 5.
The big 3 stat. I don't really think that's relevant or well. No, I do understand the relevance, but I don't think that stat matters at all when it comes to Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden.
Do you think they have the chemistry already? You think it's established? They've only played 7% of their games together so far.
I mean, they were training all offseason together as if they were already on the team, so that helps.
Yeah, and we've already seen them like show this immense willingness to adapt to each other's game. That was initially like, the biggest concern. Yeah. Right now, for me, honestly, the biggest concern is just getting everybody healthy. Like, are we going to be able to see this big 3 together in the playoffs? I know a lot of people thought this was like their version of like load managing. I'm not so sure about that anymore.
Yeah,
I'm legitimately concerned. Yeah.
If Durant isn't healthy, no, I don't think they're making the NBA Finals. I think the Bucks or the Sixers will. I mean, the Bucks are very interesting right now because the Bucks are like they're kind of going under the radar, I'd say, because every game with the Bucks, they try a bunch of different things. Like they'll have different offensive and defensive schemes.
Yeah. You're right.
They try out where they're willing to throw games, like not throw, but they're willing to lose a game like here or there because they are trying different things and seeing what works to unleash it for the playoffs. It's the same thing as like when we have LeBron and it's like, okay, well LeBron's, doing like this, he's trying out different stuff. Like has always been a media narrative. It's like LeBron saving it for the playoffs. The Milwaukee Bucks as a collective team are saving it for the playoffs right now. So I'm very interested to see what happens once the playoffs come. I'm not sure if we're going to see it in the first round right now. Let's see. The Bucks would be matched up against the Knicks. So I think they probably would, if they're matched up against a team like the Heat or the Celtics, then it's a different story. But I think we will see, though, once playoff basketball is happening and the Bucks are, doing everything they possibly can to win, I think we're going to see a much more dangerous Bucks team. And I don't know. I kind of want to pick the Bucks to win the East.
I'm not going to say that, but I think the playoffs are going to be an unbelievable chess match. I think Kevin Durant being healthy is really important for a lot of reasons. Obviously, one of the best scorers to ever play. But I think we're going to have to see a lot of Kevin Durant at 5 for the Brooklyn Nets, because I'm not sure, DeAndre Jordan's fast enough to guard these screen and rolls. I'm not sure he's a high enough level defender, effort player still to, continue playing him at that 5. And what really interests me is the 76ers matchup versus the Brooklyn Nets. If KD goes to the 5, obviously he can't guard Embiid, but nobody on the Nets can. We talked about this before, and I was kind of on the other side of it, but now, I'm kind of coming back. Ben Simmons' inability to shoot is going to be so big because you can make Kevin Durant at the 5 sustainable, maybe even just a little bit, if they can double team Embiid on the touch every time off of Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
So that definitely scares me a little bit for the 76ers.
What was that? That was our first podcast? That was our first, or it was either our first or a mock. 100%, because that's where we got into this about Giannis, but that's where when a team is specifically game planning to play a team for a 7-game series, it's so different. The NBA is so fast paced. See it this season, more than ever. Teams are playing 3 games in 5 days or whatever. You can only game plan a certain amount. There's only so much these guys can process. Okay, we're playing this guy. Once you are just playing, you're the Milwaukee Bucks, you're playing only, let's say, the Miami Heat, okay? You're getting Jimmy Butler's tendencies down. You're going, okay, when he drives left, he does this. He pulls up for a jump shot 50% of the time, off of this. You're getting into advanced things that you really can't get into in the regular season with such a fast-paced schedule. So that's where things like Ben Simmons, they create defensive schemes where really hurts you when you just have a guy who literally cannot shoot the basketball. Maybe he should switch to his right hand. Recently made a video on, that conspiracy, but he just can't shoot, and he still can't shoot from the mid-range, which to me, it's at least figure that out, you can't shoot threes, fine. Get your mid-range jumper down. Make mid-range jump shots.
Is it crazy to say that I don't think I'd want to play the New York Knicks in the playoffs?
They're on fire, and Derrick Rose is crushing it. I recently watched them in person, and I got this Boston Celtics rocking Boston because I was just recently there. Bought that there. Every time I go to a stadium, I buy some stuff from there. But I recently just watched them in person. They are a team that is hungry and that loves each other, though, too.
They love defense, too, and they can shoot.
They're hungry, they could shoot, and they play as a team, and it's next man up with them, too. They've got multiple guys that can do it, and I took a picture at the game. The Celtics are in a little bit of a different situation looking back a few weeks later because winning just makes everyone happier. But Celtics all sitting on the bench. They were kind of just more of a professional atmosphere. The Knicks, every single guy was up. They were literally all off of their seats, cheering their guys on. When, high fives all around. They loved each other. So, I wouldn't want to play them in the playoffs right now, especially with Julius Randle having such an incredible season. The man is just a bucket.
Yeah. called that one, by the way. I think a lot of Lakers fans did too, but I really didn't want Julius Randle to leave the Pelicans. Bro, Nerlens Noel. What'd you say, Mike?
I was going to say I didn't want him to leave the Lakers.
Who would you rather have? Well, Nerlens Noel first, and then we'll play. Who would you rather have? Julius Randle or Kristaps?
You know, when it comes to the Knicks, they got a lot of guys that are playing out of their mind. And, you know, Nerlens Noel is one of those guys that immediately comes to mind for me because this guy has been an absolute anchor. I don't want to say he's playing like Rudy Gobert, but he's had like a Rudy Gobert type impact for the New York Knicks. I mean, it's just been that type of season for them.
I'm really glad you didn't say he was playing with Rudy Gobert, but yeah, no, he's been impressive. Honestly, multiple guys, you know, it's like you got Julius Randle coming, he's having his own, you know, resurgence, renaissance, whatever you want to say there. You've got D Rose just coming back, you've got Nerlens, like guys right there are thriving, and you know the man Tibbs, he's finding success in New York, where it kind of makes you question like what happened in Minnesota.
How bad were they? Yeah, how bad are they?
I mean,
Nerlens?
They can't win. Honestly, like the question has to be asked. We have enough to talk about this podcast, but the question has to be asked about Karl Anthony Towns as a winning player at some point. Like, you know, and there was tons of questions of Karl Anthony Towns' commitment and like wanting to win and everything. I mean, the whole Jimmy thing, like that was like a meme. Challenging all the starters, whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of. I was really expecting, and I don't think it was that bold of a take to say coming into the season, the Minnesota Timberwolves could be a potential like play-in tournament team. I don't even think that's a hot take. I think that's expected. Yeah. So, and you have all their players like D'Angelo Russell. He's not having the best year, but
to be fair, they haven't played together. They have like a winning record when they play together.
Yeah. So Anthony Edwards was a hit. Karl Anthony Towns is, at least when you look at his like stats at face value, everything from advanced analytics to basic statistics, he's doing well. So I don't think it's fair to already say, hey, the Timberwolves are bad because Karl Anthony Towns doesn't want to win. Because I'm sure like in the case of when he was with Wiggins and he was with Jimmy Butler, yeah, it's kind of a bad look when you have two really good cores around you and you're not able to make either of them succeed. But you also have to bear in mind that this is a guy that has gone through a lot over the past year. He lost his mom to COVID. He got COVID himself. And when you add into the fact that he has a brand new head coach, and on top of that, he has a new number 1 overall draft pick coming in. They haven't had an opportunity to really get together because summer was really crazy. He might be trying to shake off some cobwebs because he hasn't played basketball in like 10 months because of that long stretch where the NBA was took a hiatus. I think that we should give him the benefit of the doubt because I don't think he's getting a fair shake here. And I think we need to give him at least a year with this D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards core, because also you're the Minnesota freaking Timberwolves, you know? You have to give them credit. This is probably the best team they've assembled, I want to say, probably since the KG era. You know, so give it time to grow. One of them's a rookie. If you might mean best core assembled, but not team. I mean, they're
No,
core. Yeah. But like, bear in mind, it's a super young core. Karl Anthony Towns, 25. D'Angelo Russell is 25 as well. Anthony Edwards is just 20. And I'm sure they need to find the right head coach. At the very least, give them like a year or two together, and I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I'm willing to give Cat a big pass.
Yeah, I'll give him this year for sure. A lot.
But when it comes to like winning players, who has not been a winning player? I don't know if I like that term, winning players. Like, can you actually like name somebody that like you're like, oh well, that guy just doesn't win?
Russell Westbrook
doesn't win. Russell Westbrook. What?
That's not fair. Like, what are we doing? Like, what?
He's sometimes
he doesn't win.
Like your play style doesn't.
What do you mean? Russell Westbrook has made the playoffs like almost every season of his career. I'm not talking about championship.
I'm talking about okay. There's a difference between winning. Yeah, I guess there's a difference between winning and championship player. Like, I don't think Russ's play style really lends itself
well,
much to a
if you
championship.
want to feel like you can't win a championship with Russ as your number one or something, that's different. But
Well, I'm not sure you could win it as a number two because he literally has a mindset of a number one.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Russ has been phenomenal this season,
And Washington is where?
I mean, that's not his fault. Have you seen their roster? Have you seen their injuries? Have you seen their coach?
Yeah, I mean,
It's not his
they
fault
still
at all.
have 49 games out of Russ, 47 games out of Bradley Beal, 47.
I'm
games
not saying
out of
he's not a
Rudy.
good player. I'm saying that.
So aren't you
at
questioning Bradley Beal? Because Russ has been successful just about everywhere he's been.
I'll question Bradley Beal too.
That
I'm
was
honestly-
unfair, then.
I'll question them both.
I honestly would question Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook as a pairing because they're just not a good
Okay.
defensive duo. They're a great offensive duo, but Bradley Beal is one of the biggest defensive liabilities in the entire NBA. I have yet to
He's
see.
definitely.
Yeah. Russell Westbrook has been remarkable. He actually leads the NBA in clutch field goals this year, making 55.7%.
Absolutely dismantled the Pelicans. Like, this guy just willed them to a win.
All
It
right,
was just
I'm
unbelievable
just
to
not
watch.
gonna forget the fact that KD did not want to play with him anymore. Just got sick of him, and also
Didn't
the fact
KD
that
get tired of the Warriors?
him and
Like,
Paul George.
Yeah,
also, him and
KD,
Paul
like,
George also never made it past the first round with a team that had plenty of talent to do so.
I mean, also those OKC Thunder teams with Paul George and Carmelo Anthony were just poorly assembled, in my opinion, and didn't
Yeah,
have the
those were
proper coaching.
terrible.
Yeah.
It took them. They never got shooters around Russell. I see why KD wanted to leave. I mean, that stuff was a joke.
I mean, also, like, I don't know. I don't want to go back to an argument we should be having in 2016, but I do still perceive KD leaving that OKC Thunder team as one of the weakest moves in not only NBA,
Seriously.
but probably all of sports history.
No.
Yeah, of course.
I agree with you.
He went
And-
to the team that beat him.
And
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They definitely could have won a championship that year. That's on KD and Russ. That's not just Russ.
If Clay
That's
does
true.
not catch on the most fire I have ever seen someone be on, they literally are in the finals.
So that takes us back to you saying you can't see Russ being a number two because he definitely should have been in the
Yeah,
finals
but here's
that
the
year.
difference. Well, here's what I'll continue to say. Once Clay did catch on fire, down the stretch of that game, Russ and KD were both horrible. Both of them.
That I think that's a massive outlier, but
An outlier.
I think
How is it a massive outlier? His entire career has been that.
well, no. Kevin Durant's been phenomenal.
No, I'm talking about
in
Russ. His
postseason
entire
for most
career
of his
has been
career.
that.
Okay, well, you could say then Kevin Durant's an outlier. It takes maybe one of them having a good game for them to win, no? So
End
do
of
you
the
think-
day, Russell Westbrook, I just do not think is someone that a lot of players want to play with.
Really? Why is that?
yeah, I don't know about that.
What gives you that?
I
What
don't-
gives
I
you
think
that
he just
impression?
thinks-
Everybody's always said he's a great teammate, from Oladipo to just.
I
like
think
everybody.
he's a good teammate off the court, but and on the court too, like as a leader. But I will definitely die on the hill of Russell Westbrook takes horrible shots down the stretch. He has proven that time and time again, and now we're at the point where it's just like repetitive at this point. This conversation has been had.
I think if he truly wanted to win a championship, he's going to have a pretty good opportunity to win a championship after this contract. His age 34 season, 2023 free agency. He could take a pay cut, maybe assume a lesser role. I think Russell Westbrook, a 34-year-old Russell Westbrook that's not nearly as dominant now, coming off of your bench as your sixth man with a bunch of shooters
I don't
around
think
him.
he has. I don't think
Yeah,
that is my problem. I don't think his mentality will ever like Kobe. You never saw Kobe come off the bench. You never saw like Allen Iverson. I think there are just certain players that doesn't work. Like once they get older and they age out of stardom, it's like they're kind of just it doesn't work anymore. Like someone like Vince Carter transitioned perfectly into a role player type role. I don't see Russ doing that. But if he proves me wrong, I'm all for him proving me wrong.
I mean, if he's truly the great.
I'm not hating on him as a person. As a person, he seems like a great guy, family guy. He seems like I like him, but as a basketball player, I don't really love some of the way he's played.
If he's truly a remarkable teammate, then he should have no problem transitioning to a lesser role to win a championship. If he's truly a great teammate, and I guess only time will be able to tell us that for sure.
I mean, I guess if Carmelo Anthony could do it, then Russ could do it as well.
Carmelo Anthony didn't have a choice. It was like, listen, buddy, like the game.
Well, Russ isn't going to have a choice either when he gets older.
Yeah. So I'm sure when it's like assume a lesser role or no more basketball for you, they kind of come around.
To the high level that Russ is still playing at, he's going to be 33 this year. Just a little note.
No, I'm not saying what Russ does as an individual is not incredible. I'm just saying that, I don't think that if I was building a franchise, I would not want Russell Westbrook as my 1 or 2 guy and prime Russell Westbrook as well. There are so many more guys I'd rather have.
So I love rubbing salt in Coop's wounds. I kind of live for it here. And at least at the time we were recording this video, the last time the Pelicans played a game, it was against the red-hot New York Knicks. And a specific individual that should have been traded a couple months ago, but didn't, returned from injury. And Coop, what did you think about his performance? How are you feeling about Lonzo Ball currently?
Well, I can't wait for him to return to Los Angeles. Yes, sir. That's going to be crazy, man. We didn't pay Schroeder, so we could pay Zoe. Come on now. Our Lakers making moves, Mike.
I don't think we're giving up on Schroeder. Schroeder's been.
You're going to pay him over $21 million per year?
I mean, wait, first of all, we're talking about single games here. I mean, he had a bad stretch of 2 games.
Yeah, but it's Lonzo. When
we're talking about Zoe, it's just what does he bring to the court? If shooting is all he's going to bring, then it's tough.
If you look at, I'm looking at his last 2 games, horrible. Moving on beyond that, his last the game.
Did you see how the Pelicans lost versus the Knicks? Did you catch that?
Yeah, no, I saw.
Did you saw what Zoe did?
Where you're talking about when he left the shooter,
wide open shooter in the corner.
I wouldn't say wide open by any means, but he definitely took.
Yeah, he still got a decent contest, but there's no reason to leave that guy.
Reggie Bullock, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the best shooter on.
For some reason, I've actually watched that game three times in the last 2 days because I currently have MSG is just playing in my living room and it keeps replaying that game. So it's just, I've seen clips of it multiple times. Yeah, he shouldn't have taken the step, but he took one. To be fair, I mean, I'm not gonna kill him for it. It was a pretty contested shot.
It was a terrible step. You don't leave that guy in any situation.
I mean, did you how much time was left on the clock though? It wasn't like there was 0 seconds left. So who knows what happens after that? But yeah, I mean, he definitely made it. That's a bad mental error. I definitely think because he's Lonzo though, he's getting more hate on that than a normal player.
I don't know. I don't know if I've seen as many people, just I don't know. I can't agree with that one.
You don't think he's getting more hate than he?
No, I don't think there's been masses of Lonzo hate recently. Nah, I really don't think so. I think a lot of people, at least when it comes to the Pelicans, have been blaming Bledsoe because he was told to foul on the inbounds play, and Bledsoe flat out said, "I wasn't paying attention. I forgot."
So you're just saying you don't think? Well, I saw on Twitter a bunch of people ripping Lonzo.
What do you think?
I didn't see that.
It was a pretty remarkable game for you guys because after that game, Zion Williamson gave the media a nice little soundbite when he said he loves playing in New York.
Yeah, LeBron also gave the media that same soundbite. Where's LeBron right now, Mike?
So did Kobe, so did Michael Jordan, but New York is coming up. Before New York was kind of.
How do we know that? For one, how do we know this isn't an outlier of the season? For one, I love New York. New York fans are gonna get mad at me. I don't like what you're doing here.
But you don't like what I'm doing? Literally, Russell Westbrook stands are some of the most attack happy.
Bro, yeah, we're gonna get destroyed by.
I'm about to be responding to their comments in We should just do a segment where we bring on people onto the podcast.
Yeah, you're right.
To yell at us.
Stands and Lonzo, literally, you're back.
And Kevin Durant.
Lonzo.
Seriously, we got to get Mike on the other end of some of this. What? I'm tired of this.
You know what? Actually, no. Perfect thing. I mean, honestly, I agree. I don't really think Zion that means all too much, I mean, who doesn't love playing in New York? It's Madison Square Garden.
To be fair, if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm running with that quote too.
I'm sure the Zion jersey edits are there, but it makes no sense. I mean, Zion's not going to be a free agent for
5 years.
Minimum 3, 95% 5. Because he could technically, if he wanted to, play out his rookie contract and then somehow decide, even though he is an injury risk, decide to take about like what 15 million probably would be the option that he would get, or like something around there, maybe whatever, instead of making like 30 plus million and locking into a contract where he'll be set for life. So yeah, like he's almost definitely just in New Orleans for 7 years.
Yeah,
at least.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
Also,
but maybe 7, you know, 5 or 6 years from now, Knicks fans, I don't know, maybe. Free agency is looking great in 2026 or 2027.
Bro, in 2021, I'm more shocked when players stay with their teams, to be honest with you. And honestly, if we don't have a winner around Zion by that time, like, just screw it. Like, where are we going, Zion? Like,
yeah, it's true. The whole same thing's happening with the Bulls with everything.
Yeah. I feel you on that one, bro. I feel you on that one. Hardcore.
His start to his career is literally is very similar to the start of LeBron James's career, although LeBron did it in a much slower pace era and Zion has more.
Do you mean like statistically? Because
statistically, yeah. So like LeBron is clearly more.
Yeah,
clearly LeBron's.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, true. I'm saying like in terms of like the way he's living up to his hype so far, he's doing a remarkable job, and I hope he continues to stay healthy and continues to crush it. But I also wanted to tell you, I do think that it's different for New York this time. I don't think this is an outlier, because I think there are like 2 major contributors to their success. Well, in reality, one. One is the fact that they hired Leon Rose. You know, very similar to the move that the Lakers made, hiring a successful agent as your general manager that understands the CBA, embraces analytics. Brilliant move. Like, after that, Leon Rose brought in Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau decided to play 5 out with Julius Randle. It's just like a series of good decisions being... Coop, why are you looking at me like that?
You're killing it. Just keep going. I want to see where this is going.
No, it's just like a series of good decisions that have been made. Trading for Derrick Rose, another small, slick decision. Telling RJ Barrett that you should be a spot-up shooter.
And I don't know. I'm just going to say, as much as I love New York, and I think they're going to be great long-term, I've seen their name, and I don't know if this is just like rumors and stuff. I've seen them interested in like every mid-free agent and person that's possibly available for trade.
New York, this future is going to be, they have to be very careful, because if they do like sign someone like Lonzo to, like,
they want to throw a bag at Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, if they
like,
throw
you're
a bag
throwing
at
20 or 30 at Lonzo. Like, you're not somebody that's set up great for the future, in my opinion.
I think that's
good.
I think that's mainly to sell tickets, to be honest.
That's not. If you're trying to sell tickets, then that's a problem. If you're just trying to sell tickets, your goal should never just be to sell tickets. If you win, people are going to come.
The Knicks could imagine if the Knicks had not messed up both
the Knicks
Obi
really
and
don't.
Kevin Knox.
Yeah, the Knicks really don't need to sell tickets either. Honestly, I mean, it's New York. They're selling out probably every game.
Halliburton went after Obi. I'm looking. And
I actually like the Obi pick. This is crazy, but
that is
Julius
really?
Randle. Yeah.
He's 23.
I think. Yeah, I mean, he's
he's
man.
old. He is old.
No, he's for sure old, but he's talented, man. It's just that Julius Randle is not leaving a lot of minutes to spare, which also is a concern for me.
If you're good, look at Randle's. You're playing. He's averaging 4 a game.
Well, no, not if. I don't know. Not on a Thibs team. I disagree.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
fair.
Yeah. And Julius Randle's, like, have you seen his minutes recently, bro? They're so high. I think like 38, 43, 40, like 37. Like, yeah, we're going down the same wormhole, which I hope doesn't end up like it has in the past. You know, that's always been one of my major concerns with Tibbs. Like, yo, like, you're going to bring winning, but let's keep the minutes managed.
Julius is leading the NBA in 37.4 minutes per game. No surprise. Really no surprise. Tibbs can't help himself. Literally, he knows that is his biggest, like, flaw. Like, everyone says that. Everyone's like, Tibbs plays guys too much. And that's the only guy he's playing too much is Julius. Like, RJ's playing 34. Bullock's playing the third most at 28 right now. But,
oh, nice.
But, Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful. Like, literally, the thing is, the Knicks, I guess, are the way Tibbs coaches is he knows right now, like, the Knicks are not in a position where they could be throwing away games. They're not like a guaranteed playoff, like they're just cruising to the playoffs. So he coaches the games like they're like, okay, this is a playoff like type kind of game, not full on, but more than another regular season coach would coach a team. That's why guys end up playing tons of minutes like this.
I wanted to ask you guys about Steph Curry, because the Golden State Warriors are crushing it right now, and he's literally like carrying them.
Yeah, he's got no help.
Oh, Steph Curry. All right, I would love to jump off this segment with, do you think Steph Curry is getting enough praise or is too much hate? I'm not even sure what's going on right now, because I'm not kidding when I say that, like, I swear I look at Twitter and every single time I see Steph's name, it's either like someone praising him to no end, which I think he deserves with the run that he's been having, or everyone's going like pointing out like James Harden when he like dragged the team to the playoffs, Kobe, Russ, the 1 year that he was by himself, and they're going like Steph's only the 9 or 10 seed or whatever they are right now, and he's getting hate for that. I don't understand. Like, are people watching these games?
Well,
I think that this is going to be such a very, like, people are going to hate this take. Yeah. But unless if, and I really doubt that, I really doubt it, but unless if by some miracle Klay Thompson is set to come back for playoff time, which he's not, he tore his Achilles like right before the season started. I think that he's not going to come back. There's zero chance. Like, no, I think the Golden State Warriors should like rest Steph for the rest of the year. And, you know, he's getting up there in age. He's 33 years old. He's crushing it, like 31 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, like 27 PER in 8.2 OBPM. I just don't see what's the point in playing to just make it into the play-in tournament and, you know, then probably be a first-round exit.
It's on Steph, honestly. It's not like, you know, Steph's earned the basically to be like, I want to play, I want to make the playoffs, I want to be doing this. He's having a blast out there. You see Steph? The other, like, every time he makes a three, he's doing some kind of dance.
Oh, yeah. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's definitely
So Draymond is averaging 7 points. All
right, we were talking about prime Ibaka. We were talking about primes. All right. I'm joking. What I want to point out about Steph, recently. Okay, so recently we are currently in a stretch where since April, I'm on Basketball Reference, Steph is averaging 39.9 points per game in 9 games. He's shooting around 56%. Okay, 49% from 3. But here's the craziest number. He is attempting 14 3-pointers a game and making 7 of them. God, yeah, and 14 threes a game.
When his career's over, we're going to ask why he didn't shoot more.
Probably.
Yeah, honestly, the new norm's going to be like shooting 20 threes per game.
Did you see the list? That was put out recently? It was, it was Steph Curry. Let me try to pull this up real quick. It was games with 10 plus 3-pointers made in NBA history, okay? We've got top of the list, 20, Steph Curry, all right? You scroll down. Who's number 2? On this list is still Steph Curry with 5 just this season. No other player in NBA history other than Klay. Klay also has 5 in his career. Steph has 5 this season, all right? No other player has more than 2. All right.
Yep.
Steph in his last 4 games has made at least 10 3-pointers. 3 out of his last 4 games. 3 out of his last 4. And that in the last 4 games, Steph would be just in those 4 games alone would be number 2 on that list behind Klay in games with 10 plus threes in NBA history. Oh my God. What he's doing right now is unreal. I don't think he deserves any of the hate at all. I mean, again, I want to bring the conversation back to that because what do you guys think when we talk about guys, you know, Russ bringing his team to the playoffs with not as much talent on the roster? James Harden bringing his team to the playoffs with not as much talent on the roster. Like, what is your take on that? Because I'm personally thinking, I mean, yeah, the one team I could see in the West that I would think that the Warriors should be better than the Grizzlies. But other than that, I mean, the 7th seed in the West is the Mavericks, who have
James Harden. If Wiseman's healthy, he's taking that team to the playoffs.
I mean, here's the thing.
If Wiseman's healthy.
Yeah.
I'm very much in the boat of, well, I have multiple opinions. One, I think Steph is kind of having like his Kobe Bryant post Shaq year right now, where like he already had to like take a slightly lesser role in order to fit in with Clay and KD and win championships. Then he took a year off. Now he's on a team that isn't nearly at the same point. And this is a guy that, look, I'm going to be honest, I kind of resent him for changing the NBA to what it is because like I get bored of like isolation heavy basketball from time to time. And I
think it was going to change regardless. He just sped it up, but okay.
Yeah. Probably, yeah, we should embrace change. But at the same time, I'm very much in the boat of like, what else do you want from the guy? Like, you want him to take a step back and take a lesser role so he could win a championship with teammates? He'll do it. You want him to like carry his team to the NBA playoffs? He'll do it. And you hear such good things about him in the locker room. I really don't understand why he gets the hate he does. And he's probably one of the he is the greatest shooter we've ever seen in NBA history.
Yeah, no.
I think that we should just sit back and appreciate it and enjoy it, just as we tell LeBron haters to appreciate LeBron James, or KD haters to appreciate Kevin Durant.
I have a statement here. I 4 or 5 years ago, I said this a few times in a video. It's because people love to hate on greatness. It happens all the time. That's why people hate on Michael Jordan, LeBron James. You see all the time, people get divisive when someone is truly great. I think Steph Curry embodies greatness. You literally have just watched him play recently. You know, how old is Steph right now?
33.
Well, how old?
He just turned 33.
Yeah, 33 years old, and he's doing this. Like, he's incredible. But, you know, and the Warriors are the 9 seed right now. They're just missing the playoffs. They've had injuries. They haven't had a full roster the whole year. I mean, plenty of teams have had injuries this year, but, you know, what I will say is also, I mean, the James Harden thing, fair, sure. He did make the playoffs. He dragged a horrible roster to the playoffs. That was very impressive. But Kobe, the year right after, you know, you said Kobe's post-Shaq year. Kobe's post-Shaq year, they went 34-48. It was the year after where they made the playoffs.
Yeah, well, you know, I was kind of making an analogy there.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just pointing out to like everyone that's like, look what Kobe did. Like, you know, Kobe had if you're gonna say everyone unanimously agrees at this point that Kobe, one of the top players of all time, he had a season where he was the best player on a not so great roster. They won 34 games, missed playoffs.
I have a question, because this is something that came out weeks and weeks ago. We missed it in our last podcast episode. I got a lot of hate for this, by the way, because a lot of people come to me for like their NBA news and they're like, how dare you even report this? But I fully believe this. We heard a couple weeks ago that LeBron James was trying to recruit Steph Curry to the Lakers. Now, by the time Steph Curry's contract expires, we have like another like 2 years. LeBron James and Steph here, let me just make sure I got this right. Yeah, Steph Curry's contract is set to expire in about at the end of the 2022 season.
It's next year.
At the end of next year. So, do you buy the report that LeBron was trying to recruit Steph Curry?
Do you buy the reports is the question, Lakers fan.
Do I buy the report that LeBron was trying to recruit Steph? Yes.
Oh yeah, okay. I agree with that. But do you think it's possible?
Do I think it's possible? No, not at all. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, to be honest. I would love it, I buy the report because LeBron James always just struck me as the type of guy where he's going on these little recruiting missions, trying to put himself in the best position to win championships. Very similar to what Tom Brady does for football. You know, he takes pay cuts and he puts like good players around him and he wins Super Bowls. So LeBron is trying to do the same thing. But at the same time, LeBron gets turned down all the time. He tried recruiting Kyrie Irving to the Lakers before he went to the Nets. He tried recruiting Kawhi Leonard to the Lakers, and that didn't work out either. So LeBron James takes a lot of L's during his recruiting, but at least he tries. In Steph Curry's circumstance, the legacy that he established for the Golden State Warriors, in my opinion, he is the greatest Golden State Warrior of all time in the modern era. So what he's done
also
there,
any era, like if you're gonna Wilt played on the Warriors, but I mean, if you gotta, I just take the big picture here. It's what Steph means to the team too. Won multiple championships, multiple MVPs. Yeah, I definitely think greatest Warrior ever.
Yeah. And this is kind of what frustrated me because typically people see the headline that I put on the video saying LeBron is recruiting Steph Curry to the Lakers, and they think that I automatically assume, because I'm a Laker fan, that Steph Curry's going to come. Steph has a better chance staying in Golden State and winning there than coming to the Lakers and teaming up with LeBron James, who's going to be 38, by the way, by that time. So if you stay in Golden State, say you're with Klay Thompson and Draymond Green still, they're up there in years. Klay Thompson's coming off of two major injuries as well. You have James Wiseman. You have a bunch of assets there. You could potentially lure. I really think they have a legitimate shot at luring Kawhi Leonard away from the Clippers to the Golden State Warriors because it's still California.
That is my thing.
I do.
That is my thing.
I think it could be your thing. I think it's brilliant. You suggested it to me, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
I agree. So I think that there's more of a chance that we see someone else playing in a Warriors uniform that's a high level player than we see Steph moving for sure.
Yeah,
it makes no sense to me. Steph's already done his thing. He's already won championships. He's already won MVPs. You look at the man out there. We've seen guys that are unhappy in the situations that they're in. You know, you watch a James Harden play with the Rockets this year, and you're like, this guy does not want to be there. He wants to get moved. Steph is having a blast playing for a team that is not contending for a title right now. He's very happy in Golden State. If he left, I would be so disappointed.
Yeah,
I mean,
obviously,
I wouldn't say he's having a blast. I mean, it's obvious. I mean, I do think he's having fun playing basketball right now, but he's been on the record multiple times voicing his frustration with
true.
And, the rest of the roster.
But on the court,
we've uncharacteristic things from Steph we've seen this season. I'd say.
Here's the thing. The Warriors have several things that are better than the Los Angeles Lakers, and I'm a Laker fan. Bear in mind, I think their organization currently is significantly better than the Lakers. Obviously, the Lakers I personally view as a broken house that was rebuilt and with LeBron James, and LeBron James is just holding the bits of the house together. Whereas I view the Golden State Warriors as a legitimate machine, beautiful mansion built, and
I don't know about that one.
Here's the thing. They just make, I judge based off of who is making smart decisions on a consistent basis. Yeah, the Lakers went and they got LeBron James. Then you kind of saw LeBron James's influence on the Lakers. You know, I like Kyle Kuzma, signed him to an extension. I like KCP, we had his bird right, so they brought KCP back. And they pretty much signed all the players that LeBron James would like on the team and had him come back. You look at the Golden State Warriors, this is a team that just makes consistent good decisions. Okay, we're losing Kevin Durant. Let's trade him for D'Angelo Russell and get I think they got a late pick from that as well. All right, D'Angelo Russell is now on our team. Clearly, he's not going to be here for a while. Let's ship him away for a piece that could potentially fit alongside our core, Andrew Wiggins, and get a pick as well out of that. So it's just little moves like this make me think that, okay, Curry has a better chance at winning with the Golden State Warriors over the Lakers. But on top of that, there isn't a lot of upside for him at this point to leave a team that believed in him, even though he had I don't know if you guys remember, but he had a very rough start to his career, dealing with a lot of injuries. There was a time where people thought that the Warriors would keep Monte Ellis over him. And it just, what? Yeah, lol. But
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I don't think it's that simple. You know, I think there's a reality where Steph does leave, and I think there's definitely one where he stays, and I think staying is more likely. But ultimately, especially with Wiseman getting hurt this year, I think the Warriors may be forced to make a decision on, okay, well, do we want to build slow for the long term, or do we want to cash in on Steph's prime? Because I'm sure if Steph is still playing this high-level basketball, which we know he's going to be, and, you know, the Warriors, they might get minis picked this year. You know, they got a lot of what-ifs. You know, if I'm Steph, yeah, this team believed in me. Yeah, they did this. But maybe I feel a little disrespected if, you know, we're not going all in on arguably the greatest point guard of all time in their late prime. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
How are they not going all in?
They don't. Yeah, Well, this offseason, if they don't,
two different timelines.
Yeah,
like
I mean, yeah, there's
James
two
Wiseman's
different.
not on the same timeline, and also
Yeah,
that Minnesota pick is going to be absolutely huge for either team because it's only top 3 protected.
Yeah, that could get those guys could get you some great win now
falls
pieces.
into
And
4,
right
5,
now,
or 6.
Wiseman and Draymond they don't play spectacular together. Curry's just not been using them correctly. You know, the Warriors. Go ahead, Mike.
I do agree with you, but like, here's the thing: another team that suffered from something similar to this, kinda, is the Boston Celtics. You know, they had Kyrie, they had like an opportunity to like go in. You know, you have Kyrie, some young players around you. You could get him some additional pieces. I think Kyrie and Horford and like Tatum and Brown. And you had an opportunity to trade some players in order to get like a big fish. And Danny Ainge was getting called out by the Boston Celtics for not making that big trade, bringing in another star. And I think he was offered multiple trades that he turned down just so he could hoard his assets. Whereas if you look at the Golden State Warriors, I think if you give them an opportunity to double down on Curry's final years, they'll happily take it and run. But so far, what trade was offered to them that they turned down? They were really active during the deadline. They were looking everywhere from Victor Oladipo to Lonzo Ball, but there weren't really any good pieces on the trade.
Those aren't good moves to me. Those are desperation moves.
Listen, I will say I don't think the Warriors. I definitely think they're going to go with the route of try to win with Steph
Cashing in.
Yeah,
because makes the most sense.
Because they have James Wiseman and who else? Like, that's the thing. It's not like they have a young team and Steph.
Yeah.
And it's literally James Wiseman. Like, if he was a transcendent, you know, out of the gate, like you had like prime, a Tim Duncan type rookie or something like that, then like maybe it's a different story and maybe you're like, okay, we build around. But you have James Wiseman and then you have a roster full of question marks. So really, I think they're going to just do whatever they can to win now and possibly make a run. You never know. Like, there's a lot of very talented teams. The NBA is very top heavy at this point, so it's going to be very difficult to win a championship, but it's difficult for anyone. So the best thing you can do is give yourself the best chance. And when you have a guy like Steph who can just go off on any playoff series, I would say that, you know, they're going to just ride out his prime, ride out the rest of however good he is. I mean, I don't know when he ends.
I hope they get somebody good because Draymond being the best playmaker that Steph's ever played with just don't sit right with me.
I mean,
here we go again. Here we go.
I don't think Lonzo's that. I'm gonna get a lot of hate.
Here's the thing. Like,
you can't relax. You cannot let the comments make you change your takes.
Relax.
I'm over here talking about Russell Westbrook.
Okay. You think Lonzo's a better playmaker than Draymond?
No.
Here we go again. Here we go again. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Look at the stats.
Good answer.
It hasn't been proven ever.
I think a lot of it's also going to depend on where that pick falls. But like looking at this year's NBA draft, no matter where that pick falls, it's going to be an awkward fit for them. Are you going to take like Jalen Suggs? Are you going to take Evan Mobley? Are you going to take Jalen Green? Like, Jalen Green is a shooting guard, and they could use him, but he's not a great jump shooter.
I feel like they have to trade that pick. Like,
they have to trade that pick. Why didn't they take LaMelo right now? Just based on trade value alone. I think that was an emotional decision, to be honest.
Yeah, LaMelo would have been a great fit too, honestly. I mean, they need another playmaker.
Like,
imagine we'd watch Steph and LaMelo.
Oh man,
like, that would have been sick.
It's like, this is going to sound kind of cruel, and I hope it doesn't sound too cruel, but if, and, again, what happened to Klay Thompson's horrible, but I don't think
there's a bigger...
What is I don't think there's a bigger sign from the I don't think there's a bigger sign from the basketball gods that say, hey, Golden State Warriors, draft LaMelo Ball than having Klay Thompson tear his Achilles the day before the NBA draft. And honestly,
I would hope their decision was made before then.
Yeah, I mean, no, they already had their mind made up, and they're like, okay, I think it was an emotional decision because of what Klay meant to the Golden State Warriors. But if you ask me, what would make a little bit more sense is you draft LaMelo Ball, you wait for Klay Thompson to come back, then you play Klay Thompson as like a sixth man. You reduce his minutes because he tore his ACL and his Achilles. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he returns to form and he's the same player that he once was. But I'm just thinking realistically, those are those are two absolutely devastating injuries. I grew up in an era, we all grew up in an era where an ACL tear meant, okay, you are no longer the same again. And an Achilles tear definitely meant that you're no longer the same again.
Yeah, so, it happened to Brandon Jennings. His career was over.
Yeah, so seeing both of those on one leg, I wish they thought it through a little bit more, and I hope I'm wrong.
Brandon Jennings' career wasn't over, by the way. He played another 3 seasons in the NBA,
but he wasn't the same.
Never close to the same player.
Yeah.
Would you rather have Julius Randle or Kristaps Porzingis on your team right now?
That's not fair, man. That's a cheap shot at Kristaps. Kristaps, if you're watching this, Mike Korzemba does not love you.
First of all, that's not true at all. But second of all, continue.
Okay, so who would you pick?
Who would I rather have on my team right now?
Yeah, right now. Easy answer.
I mean, I would rather have Kristaps Porzingis.
Whoa. Okay, maybe it wasn't a low blow. That's kind of That's intense.
As long as he's healthy, Randle? Though.
That's a major if.
That's where I'm going. I don't know, because I mean, I believe I don't want to downplay Julius's season right now because he's having an incredible year. My whole thing is I want to see a second season of it because we have seen plenty of seasons. I can't name them off the top of my head, but not plenty. But there have been guys that have had, great one year, 2 years. Julius been doing it though. He just hasn't.
Yeah, I was about to say he's been doing this
he just hasn't been getting the respect. His playmaking has gone up tremendously this year.
Yeah, what's also changed is he's in a great defensive system, which a system that needs scorers. So
I'm just thinking of the two players I'm thinking of fit next to Luka or whatever, because I don't think either of them are at all
fitting next
a
to
number
Luka
one option.
Fitting
for
next to Luka is tough
contender. But I'm just thinking who would I rather have if they're the number 2 or number 3 guy? I think it's a tougher question, honestly. I don't know. It's a pretty tough question.
I didn't know you were talking about for the Mavs. Unpopular opinion.
No, I'm talking about in general.
Mavs,
I get. Well, I mean, there's multiple things here because it's who's better, but then it's also who would you want on if he was your number 2 or 3 guy.
Oh yeah.
It's two different questions.
Yeah. I think the Mavs are in a tough spot, to be honest. Also,
I look at that team and I'm I don't know how to fix them. It's really in my opinion, that team has everything it needs, and I don't know how to fix them. You have Luka, you have a good complementary piece with Kristaps Porzingis. You have multiple really freaking good jump shooters. You have players well, actually, no, you don't have multiple really good. You have JJ Redick, you have Tim Hardaway Jr. There are some holes. I thought, for some reason, I guess I'm a little burnt out. I thought Seth Curry was still on the Mavericks, but he's not.
It's not the best roster.
I don't know what they do though. I agree with that because I don't know what pieces they have. They don't have much cap space freed up though. Actually, this season they are literally losing over $45 million in cap space. So,
whoa.
About 50, about 53. I'm just going right what I'm seeing on Basketball Reference, but Tim Hardaway Jr. free agent this year, JJ free agent. That right there is already $32 million. And then Josh Richardson player option. That's another 11 million. So that's 43. And then they've got another 7.5 million. That's $50 million that's coming off the books this year. So Kawhi Leonard to the Mavericks is the question. What's also very important for this offseason is that Luka is still on his rookie contract for this last year.
Oh, yeah.
Next year, they have to pay him. Going into next year's free agency, they're going to have to, of course, max him out. But this season, they still, for the 2022 season, he'll only be $10 million. So they got to get guys in free agency this season. And so, wait, what were your guys' answers to Kristaps and Randle? I'm the only one that answered
Kristaps.
What?
For sure, Kristaps.
That's crazy. I take Randle. Easy.
All right, so now you two, I'll play moderator. You two debate this out because I already talked.
Kristaps is go ahead, Mike. Sorry, didn't mean.
Obviously, it depends on what team. You know, like you can't just say. Yeah. Are you saying who's the
okay? Let's do
player
both,
currently?
right? Would you rather Kristaps? Who would you rather have on the Knicks? Who would you rather have on the Mavs? Are they perfect on the teams? I think I feel like kind of the answer works both ways.
I mean, I would still have Kristaps on the Mavs.
I'm not answering either of those. Just give me Julius.
Right.
Just give me Julius. Julius is healthy, playing big minutes. Give me Julius. Kristaps is slow, can't guard fours. Heavy feet, not great. Might get played off the floor in the playoffs.
I say Kristaps is the better complementary player because Julius is ball dominant, and that's the only thing. Like
based
in terms
of ball dominance, the Mavs could use another scorer.
True, but whoever they get that could score has to play off of Luka. Back to Kristaps versus Julius Randle, I would probably take Kristaps as a better complementary player. Spotted shooter.
That is my final
If you want
answer.
shooting, I think Julius probably shoots better from three than Kristaps.
Kristaps is 36.
Well, you have to look for that. We need to look at catch and shoot stats. All right, the verdict is in. Kristaps shoots 5.7 3-pointers a game off catch and shoot threes, makes 2.1, 36.5%. Julius shoots less, but 4, so it's not like much less, and makes 1.6 at 41%. So he is shooting better than Porzingis.
Yo, that's elite. That's nice.
You know what? Actually, I don't want to change my take mid-pod, but I'm going to change my pod. You know what? I'm changing it. I'm going with Julius Randle because not only that, I think Julius gives you more options, gives you more a small ball 5, and you could play a rim protector with him as well. Gives you more options. And he provides playmaking, which was my whole thing with Draymond before, compared to Ibaka. So I've switched to Coop side, Mike.
I swear you just go to Coop side just so you can argue with me.
That's not true at all. You know what I would love to point out was very confusing. We were literally on the same side before, and Coop didn't even know.
When?
With the Kevin Durant thing.
Oh.
Yeah, Coop was literally had to ask you when you're like, I will stick to my guns. Coop was like, what is your gun? So that was our opportunity. That was our opportunity to just have it on the same side and just go against Coop. And you just, we didn't do it.
It was a good opportunity to flex.
We'll team up and it'll work better.
All right, well, I got to run, guys.
Oh, it is okay. All right. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed Lace Up Podcast. Thank you guys for all of your amazing comments. Remember, we are giving away a PS5 or Xbox Series X at 40,000 subscribers. We're getting close. What are we at right now, guys?
Let me see. We are at the time we're making this 17,200.
17,200. That's about a third of the way there. I know you guys do it. I know we will hit 40,000 soon. I'm very excited for the future of this podcast. I cannot wait. We were planning on doing a bunch of cool things, live streams during the NBA playoffs. We are going to be doing some bonus pods that we'll get into. We didn't really get into that because we talked about so much today. But yeah, remember to subscribe, leave a like on this video, and also you can find us on Apple and Spotify. Okay, any final words, guys?
I'm always right and they're always wrong, but I sometimes say that they're right just to make them feel better.
Interesting coming from Mike number 2. Guys, I will say, if you are still here, please comment that you're still here because you're awesome. And also hit us up with any questions, anything you want us to cover on the podcast. And also, the Chicago Bulls, I'm really hoping that next week we could talk about them and that we are not in shambles because we won our last game against the Cavs. But other than that, it has been tough. It has been very tough.
Later, guys.
If you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are definitely going to enjoy. Make sure to click on one of them. Again, I know you're going to love it. And other than that, have a great day and peace.